We've been here all day.
I don't really know how good that news is.
Oh, trust me.
I mean, America's been waiting.
Yeah.
America's been waiting.
Yeah.
We're also waiting to show you a ridiculous finish to the Falcons 49ers game. It was so ridiculous. We have to present it in a certain way for you to see it, so that's what's taking us a while to get to it. In the interim, we're going to show you maybe one of the most impressive performances the Cowboys have had all season long at home, taking on the Rams, a game they absolutely had to win if they're going to try to get into the playoffs and win this division, because we showed you what happened with the Eagles earlier. All right, so here, we pick it up first quarter. Cowboys moving the ball nicely. Dak Prescott. Okay, Jason, we see you with the one hand out here.
Hey, listen, that's a great catch. Jason Witten had a drop earlier, and that's why he's so pumped up about that TD.
All right, after a Todd Gurley touchdown, tied it at 7-all. Next Cowboys possession, Dak avoids the sack, lets it rip for Tavon Austin. He was wide open, Tim.
Two defenders run into each other. It's also a nice job of Dak Prescott in the pocket, buying a little extra time, and it'd be good to see that offense get more out of Tavon Austin.
All right, less than 2 minutes to play in the half. Jared Goff looking for Robert Woods, intercepted instead by Sean Lee. He would take it inside the 10. So the Cowboys with the chance before the half to get more points on the board. And instead of Dak doing something, he hands it to Zeke. Touchdown there. Yeah, Jerry Jones.
High five. High five. Let's slap hands. Slap hands, everybody.
It's a party now.
Everybody slap hands.
44-21. The Cowboys dismantle the Rams. Prescott 13 for 23, 212 yards, 2 touchdowns. Zeke goes over 117 yards rushing, and they hold the Rams to just 21 points in this game. But again, it was necessary for the Cowboys to get this win if they're going to try to win this division. Got the Eagles coming up next week. All right, so look, I'm not a Cowboys hater. I'm not a Cowboys lover. I'm really in the middle on pretty much every team. What is it about the Cowboys week to week that we don't know who they're going to be, and who's the team that showed up today?
Hey, listen, it's inconsistent. I think that starts top down, but today they were ready to play, and this is some of the things they did in the first half to put this game away. Here we're going to see a good route combination. They're going to bring Tavon Austin across here, and he's going to cross with Jason Witten. Now, what you're going to get on the back end from the Rams is you're going to have man-to-man coverage here, and they're going to roll the safety out of the middle this way. The thing that the Cowboys weren't ready for is, if you look here, I'm sorry, that's the wrong one. Let's take that off. If you look here, Zach Martin is sitting back because he's going to be a guy that's going to pull out and go the other way. But they're actually going to come here, and they're going to get a free runner. You have to make this sack if you get to the quarterback free in this manner. So right here, the play should be dead.
Yep.
The play should be over. But we're going to see Dak Prescott escape here, and there's going to be a fall in the middle of the field when this guy and this guy collide that lead Tavon Austin wide open. Dak makes that play in the pocket. He gets the ball out to Tavon Austin, and it's a huge play. Now, here is a great play by Sean Lee. We know he's been replaced. He's been injured. He used to be the leader of this team. We're going to get a stop by Higbee here, which is supposed to allow Robert Woods to sink in behind Sean Lee. Sean Lee is the poacher, so if you watch here, he is not playing a guy. His eyes are squarely on Jared Goff, and so in looking at Jared Goff, he knows that he's trying to hit the pocket right behind him. He makes a great catch, and it's a good return. These were two huge plays in the first half. And after you start a game by botching the coin toss, and then you kick the ball out of bounds, you think things could go really sideways for the Dallas Cowboys. But plays like this by stars on this team are what helped this team get up early and really put this game away by halftime.
They needed a win, and it was impressive in doing so. But the most impressive finish we saw today went down in the Bay Area. Falcons and the Niners in the build. This was insane.
We got it right here. Okay. First time Kyle Shanahan is facing his former team as a 49ers head coach. We're going to pick it up in the second quarter at zeros. Raheem Moser punching it in from 2 yards out, Ryan.
Listen, he's been awesome the last few games. He's been the power back that this team wanted him to be, and he starts the game out with the touchdown.
And you look at it here, George Kittle just pancaking Ricardo Allen into the end zone there.
I hate tight ends.
Score with your man. Score with your man. That's the coaching point.
13-0 now. Jimmy G finding Kyle Juszczyk there.
Yeah, and, you know, just so much of what they do. You see them power football down inside the 5. Next time it's play action. There's so many different ways they can attack you.
22-17 now. Matt Jones finding, or Ryan finding Julio Jones. But they're connected because they're always.
Man, it's all the same thing.
Yeah. Ryan, Austin Hooper here in the end zone.
Listen, to me, this looked like a touchdown when you were just watching it. You're going to see here the ball hit the ground. It's reviewed, called correctly. But if you're the Atlanta Falcons, you can't.
Did it hit the ground? I thought it was on his foot.
Touch the ground.
They reversed it to incomplete.
That's okay, because
So what about this right here? Because you got Ryan finding Jones here. The play would also be reviewed. When you saw it originally, what did you think?
So when I saw it originally, I thought no touchdown. Then Ryan and I saw it, we were like, nope, that's a touchdown.
That's good.
Ball's across.
They look at it. The Falcons, it's a touchdown for them. Dramatic fashion there. 29-22 the final here. An incredible finish for the 49ers, and this has major playoff implications because you go from first to fifth now. The Seahawks have the tie break. So really interesting as the 49ers almost blows one, because leading up to this game for the last, 2-3 weeks, it's been the biggest game of the year.
Hey, misery loves company. Listen, the Atlanta Falcons are like, we're not going to the playoffs, so we about to mess some things up for everyone else.
Those teams are dangerous, right?
This is truly why, though, the Atlanta Falcons have been so puzzling to us, because we feel like they do have talent, and obviously you have a coach that has led you to a Super Bowl, so you could see some games like this, and you look defensively, you're missing Tart, you're missing Richard Sherman on the outside. And so Julio Jones really had a field day against this secondary of the San Francisco 49ers. And when Matt Ryan has an opportunity to have the ball late in the game, you can't forget he's a former NFL MVP. And they made the plays that they needed to late. And like you said, this flips you from 1 to 5, but that tells you how competitive the NFC is for the playoff race.
Matt, let me say this, though, and all due respect to Matt Ryan and the Falcons and all that kind of stuff. Why were the 49ers in this position to begin with, though? If they were trying to win this division, we're talking about going from first to fifth. They know the stakes. How do you put together a performance where you're in that position?
Well, I would just say this. At home, it's surprising, shouldn't happen, all that stuff. At the same time, something happened to the Falcons after their bye week. I mean, it really did. I mean, this is a Falcons team that gave it to the Saints. It was a Falcons team that I just think is – They started. Dan Quinn, the job he's done. I know that it's been a bad season for them, but the football that they have played over the last 5 weeks, I think, it's looked a lot different than their football at the beginning of this part of the season. It's obviously not the focus when you look at what the Niners were doing, the type of season they were having, but I think that can just happen in the NFL. I mean, listen, we saw the Patriots struggle with the Bengals. You know, we last week we saw the Packers struggle with the Redskins. I think that can happen. This is pro football, and that's really the only thing I can think of why something like that happens with with a team that you could maybe have said was outside of Baltimore, maybe the next best team in the NFL.
But when you think about the NFL, that's really what we're used to seeing. I remember so many times head coaches would come in and say, look, they're going to be a ton of one-possession games in the NFL, and you have to make the plays in situational football. And so when you watch the Atlanta Falcons do this, and Tim mentioned something about the last 5 weeks, a huge move that Dan Quinn made that I believe went under the radar was moving Raheem Morris from offense to defense. This is a guy who was a former head coach. He was a defensive back coach by trade in many places in the NFL. And we've seen this team get better defensively, which they were getting bombed on very early in the season.
All right, so again, they go from first to fifth, but they still have a chance in the division because they got the Seahawks the last game of the year, so we'll see how that plays out. But back to the Cowboys. Huge win for them.